Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping straight into a truly wild mystery horror story today that perfectly mashes up classic haunting mechanics with the ultimate nightmare fuel, a cursed doll. If you're into the nitty-gritty of how paranormal events actually tick, you are gonna love this. We're tearing down the viral Emily doll case from 2019 to see exactly how this whole disaster unfolded.
Do not buy this doll. Whoever went with it never came back the same. That is the exact English translation of a massive, glaring red flag a local antique shopkeeper gave to a college student named Riya. Now, in true horror mystery fashion, what does Riya do? She completely ignores it. She literally laughs it off, tells the guy it's just a doll, and unknowingly invites absolute chaos into her life.
To really get this, we need to look at the artifact itself and how it managed to breach Raya's reality in the first place. So, the artifact is the Emily doll. It looks like a typical antique, but it had these incredibly realistic blue eyes. Local legends actually claimed the eyes were so lifelike that it felt like the doll was tracking you when you walked past. But here is the real kicker. This doll was directly tied to the unsolved disappearance of a young girl who was also named Emily, exactly 20 years prior. Rumor had it that ever since that little girl vanished, her favorite doll just wouldn't stay with any new owner for very long. And it didn't take long for things to escalate for Riya. Right after she brought it home and put it on her bedroom shelf, the impossible started happening, and it all revolved around one very specific time.
When you map out the timeline, a really disturbing predatory pattern jumps right out at you. Night 1, Riya wakes up at exactly 3:15 a.m., and the doll is off the shelf and right by her bed. She assumes she was sleepwalking, puts it back, normal rationalization. Night 2, same exact thing. Doll is back by the bed. By night 3, Riya is so freaked out, she physically throws the doll out of her house. But, you guessed it, next morning, Emily is sitting right back on the bedroom shelf. It's completely bypassing physical barriers. In haunting mechanics, this means an entity isn't just messing around. It's actively testing boundaries and taking control of the victim's personal space.
Desperate for some logical explanation, Riya did what any of us would do and set up a CCTV camera in her room, which ended up capturing the most terrifying evidence of this entire case. The footage is totally normal right up until 2:59 a.m. Riya is fast asleep, room is dead quiet, but then, boom, exactly 3:15 a.m. hits. The camera violently glitches, the Emily doll slowly turns its head directly toward the lens, climbs down from the shelf, and literally starts walking toward Riya's bed. Moments later, right as it reaches her, the camera just completely blacks out. It dies. This is the exact moment we see the anomaly cross the line from a weird digital glitch into a full-blown physical, predatory manifestation. Imagine sitting there the next morning watching that playback. Riya is absolutely terrified. And right as the recording cuts to black on her screen, her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number that just says, "She likes you." She throws the doll out again, for real this time. But the nightmare keeps going. Later that night, sitting alone in her supposedly empty room, she hears a faint, disembodied whisper right in her ear. "Play with me." At this point, Riya is beyond panicked. She begs her friend Neha to stay the night with her, which tragically sets the stage for the climax of this whole nightmare. The two of them plan to pull an all-nighter to see what's going on. What happens next is just horrific. At exactly 3:15 a.m., the bedroom door swings open by itself. Immediately, the room temperature plummets, which, if you know your paranormal mechanics, means an entity is pulling ambient dermal energy to physically manifest. The Emily doll climbs down from a chair, Neha screams, and both girls sprint out of that room. But here is the devastating part. When morning rolls around, Neha is completely gone, vanished without a trace. Police tear the place apart and find absolutely nothing except the Emily doll sitting all alone on the bed, just smiling. With the police turning up empty-handed, Riya decides she has to trace this horror back to where it all started. She goes back to confront the antique shopkeeper, but uncovers something that literally breaks reality. This is the biggest twist of the whole chase. Riya's reality was that in 2019, she and Neha walked into a shop, talked to a guy, and bought a doll. But when she goes back to that exact spot, there is no shop. She asks around, and the locals tell her that the antique store burned to the ground 20 years ago. The physical building Riya walked into in 2019 flat out did not exist. Everything anchors on the number 20. The original little girl, Emily, vanished exactly 20 years ago. The shop burned down exactly 20 years ago. This wasn't some random haunting. This was a 2-decade-old cycle perfectly closing its loop, and Riya had walked right into the trap. So let's look at Riya's final known moments. Her entire grip on reality is gone. She stumbles back to her car in absolute shock, looks in the back seat, and the Emily doll is just sitting there, waiting for her. But the detail that truly makes this a legendary mystery horror story? The doll is physically holding Neha's missing bracelet in its hands. That was Riya's final horrifying confirmation. Shortly after seeing that, Riya vanishes from existence too. She and Neha were never seen again. You'd think the story ends there, but the legacy of the Emily doll wasn't contained to that one town. It's actually mutated into a modern digital threat. I'm going to leave you with this to think about. Deep on the internet today, there's a random, unlisted video that occasionally surfaces. In it, the Emily doll stares right into the camera and slowly asks, "Will you be my next friend?" before the screen just cuts to black. It's a terrifying evolution of a curse, making you wonder if a paranormal threat can transmit digitally or if just knowing Emily's story puts you on her radar. So what do you think? Keep an eye on those shadows, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.